Hold up. All right, go ahead.
This is Colossians 3:9. And it says, "Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds."
Right, and that's our responsibility when we come in this truth, man. To do the best we can to recognize what we're doing wrong and try and, make better out of that. And as a brotherhood, we can't be lying to each other. We got to be honest with each other. Because eventually, if it's the Lord's will, you might be running in Jacob's trouble with the brothers that you teach or hold camp with. And the same goes for, if you're not really in a camp right now, you might wake up in the end times when those chariots are coming down and beaming people up. You might wake up and find some brothers. That's the same thing, man.
Yeah.
The same situation. Lie not to one another, man, and put that old man off.
Come. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verses 22. And it says, "That ye put off concerning the former conversation with the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust."
Right. Back in in the world, man, we used to do all types of manners of wickedness. We didn't really necessarily know what was going on because we didn't know who Yahweh Shem Yahushua was at that time. But speaking for myself, man, I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff, man, without the Lord's guidance. And that's what the scriptures are for, man. That's what's beautiful about the Lord's laws, is they're not just common sense in the fact that if you keep the law, statutes, commandments, you live a longer and happier life. But, you actually obtain a relationship, a spiritual relationship. And brothers will know what I'm talking about when I say that. But you develop a spiritual relationship with your Creator, man. And sometimes you're on good terms, and sometimes, you're on bad terms. But that's just the chastisement of the Lord, man. And he puts that stress and that beating on his chosen men to stay afflicted.
And a lot of times to humble us, man. Because what the scriptures talk about is, the earth shall be handed over to the meek. So being in this truth, how can we be the meek? We have such as knowledge. If we would be able to prosper with it, if we were able to make millions of dollars off of it, would we really be the meek anymore? Looking at other camps like IUIC who brings in, their church for profit or, for filthy lucre's sake. Hey, man, you think Nate is living a meek life? You think these other, reprobate camps are living a meek life? Out there in their fancy garments and shit, man? You think they go to their 9 to 5 and pray for daily bread every day? Or you think them niggas is, chilling in, like, private jets and shit? They're like your fucking, Creflo Dollars of Israel, man. Salakia. This is, you can break this down, brother. This is Ecclesiastes 3:17. Because there's a time for everything in this world. Like the brother says, sometimes God's dealing with you, sometimes he's not. And then we're coming into a time of war, man. Right now we're in a time of peace. We're in a time of, everyone's kind of just happy dwelling together. We're not happy. We have these race divisions all over the country, but everyone's just at peace right now. But this is Ecclesiastes.
Well, not so much anymore, but
it's
on the brink of never being like that. All it needs is that one extra push. Whether it be the collapse of the money or the collapse of food or whatever it may be.
I'm going to start at 1.
And that Lights Out event too, man. I just wanted to talk about that too. That Lights Out, they got a Lights Out event planned for November 4th.
Oh yeah, when they're testing for their EMP.
Yeah. Hey man, a lot of them tests wound up being the real deal. They did the same thing when they did 9/11. So whatever it is that does knock the system out,
it will not come back.
Yeah, it may not come back.
Potentially.
Yeah. They may knock the whole grid, and then, hey, man, that would be the end. You may never get Wi-Fi.
And Esau likes to show his deeds in his shows, man. They made a show called Revolution, where that's basically what happened. The government shut down the grid, and then, like, maybe 10 years after the grid was down, they launched nuclear missiles in that show. So, hey. You never know. Esau likes to show what he's going to do before he does it. The devil always falls on his own sword.
Yeah.
But this is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says to everything is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up which has been planted. A time to kill and a time to heal.
Right, that's important right there, because, a lot of people think when you talk about killing, it says in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. Well, there's a time to kill, and like the Elder Malcolm, I was just watching a video with this brother earlier mentioned, when you were fighting in the name of the Lord and you were an Israelite, it was a righteous thing to slay another man for your beliefs in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Now, there's a difference between that and murder, cold-blooded murder, and there was laws in the Bible to deal with murderers, different various laws. But like the brother's saying, it's a beautiful time to talk about Ecclesiastes right now because we're in the season of fall. You see the spring and you have flowers in life, and then for a short time, and then the world changes. So that's a beautiful thing, how the Lord created this whole thing to do the same thing. You have ups and downs in America. You have the season for folly and happiness, and it doesn't seem like anything's happening. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have these tests, these EMP tests. You have the situation with North Korea, with the petrodollar and the yuan. The yuan being that China's about to launch their own petrodollar now.
They already did. It started on Monday.
And RT made a pretty cool documentary about that. The RT.com, if you haven't heard of it, look it up.
They basically said America has to start a war. Or they're doing it.
And they have. That's the thing. It's not just that they have to. They have. Every time somebody went against the petrodollar, being Muammar Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein, every single time somebody went against that U.S. dollar, the U.S. has done something out of control. They've done some crazy shit.
Well, this time, man, they have to because the dollar will die if China leaves it, and China left it on Monday.
Yeah.
They're now and they trade with Russia where they have an agreement, a gold-backed agreement where everything that they do, basically where Russia's switching the yuan for the ruble or vice versa, it's done with that currency that China just affirmed in their banks. So they're done with the dollar.
And that goes back to the BRICS.
Yeah, so they have nothing to do. That whole system is starting to come. Everything that, was being spoken about, oh, this is going to happen, blah, 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 8 years ago, it's happened. China's dropped the dollar, man, and the dollar will die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It just is all about.
Basically, it's like.
It's all about how they're going to present it to you now.
Yeah, it's like a motherfucker that's bleeding out, man. Not if you get the same cut to two motherfuckers, ain't no telling which one of them is going to bleed out first. But there's a guarantee that's going to bleed out.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be blood.
Yeah, it's a fatal blow, man. The system, there's no way that the system can sustain itself anymore because there's nothing behind it, man. And the nations have discovered this. And what's that scripture roughly paraphrasing? Have you become as weak as us, basically?
I get it.
But that's the case, man. America's in that position now where, hey, man, the other nations ain't worried about you. They ain't worried about your bike helmet soldiers, man.
Right. And just like the brother said, there's a time and season for everything. And that's the point. That America was great for a period of time, if you want to call it great, when it was considered great. And now it's not so much anymore.
It's mostly propaganda, man, being pushed.
This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. And it says, remember now thy Creator in the day of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun, or the light of the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinding cease because they are few, those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up the voice of a bird, and all the darters of music shall be brought low. Right?
And what that brother's talking about is a direct communication to the Israelites by blood. And you ever wonder why certain people will say they don't believe in God? Well, the Most High set this whole situation up to be that way. You'd have nations that did not have any relationship with the Most High. And it was just the Israelites that actually had a spiritual relationship with the Most High. All right? So, and that's a communication. Like you said, remember your Creator. He's talking to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those that stem from that bloodline, to return back to the Most High. Return back to the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
Before the nuclear bombs come.
Touch on that cease of the grinding, too, man.
That's the cease of the grinding, man. Right now, we're grinding in this this consumerism nation that we're in. They teach us to buy. They have all these commercials. All they want you to do is feed the beast. Feed America's wars. Feed America's inhibitions. All the things they do. They murder other people's children. Well, all that's going to come to a stop soon. All this economy and all this go to work every day, 9 to 5, pretend like some of the things in the world aren't happening is going to stop.
Right.
It's going to be a rude awakening, man. It's going to be a rude awakening when you can't feed your children anymore. It's going to be a rude awakening when the police, when you call 911, they're not there to protect and serve anymore. There's too many people out in these streets with guns. Too many people out here. There's military out here in these streets. Then what are people going to do?
And it's going to reach that point, man, where essentially you can be cool with everybody so long as you can all go to Walmart, we can all go to the gas station.
What we call the illusion of socialism.
Right. Because the moment that you remove some of these things from the equation, the moment that food becomes, hey man, there's too many people in the city for everybody to eat. Hey, there's too many. Right.
Big ass trucks that fill up the Walmarts and the King
Exactly. There's too many people. It's not enough water it's not enough fresh water for everybody in the city, man.
Right behind the King Super, so I see those trucks every now and then. Every 3 days, man.
Yep.
Documented. Them motherfuckers be in the back unpacking.
Believe me, it won't be lit when all these things happen.
Yeah, it won't be lit.
You know, you got. Yeah, well, you got all these. That's what everybody always. Everybody want to have a lit time. You know, everybody want to just party and chill and do all this fuckery. Hey, all that fuckery gonna get you killed, man.
Like the brother said, remember thy Creator and thy youth. You don't have to. See, the Lord's not looking for knuckleheads, man. He's not looking for hardheads. He wants you to understand the situation that you're in before He causes great pain and death to this land. He just wants you to understand who you are and to come out of this system. That's all.
This is Luke 17 and 26. And this isn't read, so Yahushua was speaking this himself. And it says, "And as it was in the day of Noah, so shall it also be in the day of the Son of Man."
Right, so Noah being Noah, because you have this Bible translated through a few languages. Well, Noah in this reference is talking about the beginning in the Old Testament, Noah, who was warned beforehand that it would rain, and it had never rained before that point. He was warning people, hey, it's going to start raining. People didn't believe him. They were like, no, that's not going to happen, man. It's not going to rain. And then it rained, and it kept raining, and it flooded the land, and it killed pretty much everything and everybody on the earth.
When it makes the account, too, man, for people who don't believe that, it makes an account in the Bible, period, in that same chapter about how they gathered and got all their water from the ground, man. They had aqueducts, the dew of the earth, the aqueducts, or a well.
27, when it's talking about Esau's blessings, he says that ye shall be as the dew of the earth. You know, the waters of the earth. Because the waters were inside the earth. They never came from the sky.
Right. Which just being my point, man, how much, you know, how people they just didn't have the faith that water would fall from the sky, man.
And like the brother saying, in the days of Noah, it's the same situation. So just like the Lord warned the people with Noah, at that time being the righteous seed, he's sending people that you wouldn't think would be out here doing this to warn you. And I'm not saying I'm anything. I just believe in the scripture for what it is, and I read it. And
That's right.
It says it's all for itself.
It's no personal interpretation, man.
Let me read this real quick.
You know what I mean?
It's 24 and 36, and it says, "But of that day and hour knoweth no man, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the day of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the day that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark."
Oh, man. That's exactly what we see in America. Like we were just talking about, consumerism. They want you to stay asleep in the system where they have all these distractions. They have all kinds of distractions. They got the NFL, the NBA,
bread and
game
circus
systems, all kinds of shit, man. Jobs is a huge distraction. I spend 90% of my time just working to survive.
God,
this land is full of distractions, man. So that's what this system's set up to do, to keep you more focused on things that really have no importance in this life.
Right. Dumbass
things that
songs.
Are going around in the world.
Dumbass TV shows.
This is Luke 1 and 70. And it says, "As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the beginning, since the world beginning."
Like I said, I'm not going to take that role, but you got to be humble, man. You can't be out here talking all that shit and not have your shit together, know what you're talking about. And I use rude speech, but the Bible says you can use rude speech.
It's not a sin.
The churches didn't teach you as well.
Hey, well,
you can use rude speech.
Well, if you know anything anyway, man, just you can call yourself whatever you want to, but Christianity goes the lineage, or how far it goes back, is right around really to the time of Constantine, man. Christianity was a creation of a nigga who knew the truth and knew some bullshit and mixed it together, man.
This is 2 Corinthians 11:6, and it says, "But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge."
There you go. So
but we have though. Slaki, go ahead, Doc.
We're not going to be the ones to sit here and tell you something out of our own mind. What does it say, Ak?
But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have known thoroughly made manifest among you in all things.
Right, so not rude in speech, but not rude in knowledge, but rude in speech, man. That's because we're angry men. Does the scriptures not say the afflicted man is angry? That man in affliction should be angry? Of course we're angry. Like I was saying earlier, we don't have anything in this land. Being African, so-called African Americans, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Those bywords they call us. But like the brother was just saying, he sent his prophets. There wasn't one time that the Most High didn't cause a destruction on a land that he didn't warn those people first. What about Sodom and Gomorrah? Did he not do the same thing?
Warned them.
He warned them. He warned them. He said, go tell me if there's 5 righteous. He started with 100. Is there 100 righteous people in the city? If there's 50 righteous people in the city, I won't destroy it. If there's 25 righteous people in the city, I won't destroy it. But this man went every part of the city, and he couldn't find any righteous people. And that's what we're living in, man, because there's nothing new under the sun. Like your brother just said a few minutes ago in another script. There's nothing new under the sun. It's there's a time for this, there's a time for that, and it's all repeating itself. This is one big ancient Rome right here that we live in.
Right.
This is a big-ass ancient Rome.
Which they stole from Babylon.
Egypt.
Or which they took from Greece, which they took from Babylon.
Egypt.
Which they took from the Assyrians, right. You know what I'm saying?
All that shit.
And Jake you love your captors, man. You love your captors. No, you good, Doc. Here, I can stop it and pick it back up if you want to.
I got Seth.
Go ahead, brother.
You can break this down here, Doc. Isaiah 28:9.
Let me get this way here now. Alright, this is 2 Thessalonians 1:6. And it says, seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Right, man. So it's a righteous thing for the Israelites to be upset about the situation that we're in. It's upsetting to see the police kill innocent people in the street and get away with it. It's upsetting to wake up to the fact that after all these hundreds of years of marching, that there's no amount of marching that'll save our people. It's the Lord. And that's what we've been doing wrong ever since we fell from our situation in Jerusalem. In Jerusalem. Yeah, there's a curse. We're cursed, man. And every single man and woman and child that is an Israelite fell from their power because they did not follow the Most High's laws. And that's why we are in this captivity right now. We're in a mental captivity here in America.
It's a big-ass cage, man.
They call Negroes African Americans. Well, African and American were both named after Europeans. So you're telling me you're 2 Europeans. What is your real nationality? You're telling me that the Northern Kingdom was a bunch of savages that didn't have any intellectual capacity before the Europeans got here. That's also a lie. The natives would show the Europeans how to do shit, how to bathe.
Which, if that's the case, man, then why was there pyramids in Mexico and all throughout South America?
Right, or Hebrew.
Right, or Hebrew, all throughout North America and South America, for that matter.
Jeremiah 33:7, and it says, and I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first.
Come on, man, that's what's happening. Starting with the elders down, we're seeing a body being built. And it's going to be fully constructed of 144,000 men that are going to receive spiritual powers, superpowers, like these movies you see in movie theaters. And it's going to be 1/3 women and children. That's going to be that new body. And they're going to help Yahushua be the world calls Jesus Christ. They're going to help Yahushua rebuild the kingdom of old. It's going to be taking part. There are going to be laws and orders. There's going to be a righteousness again. There's going to be food that's not tainted by genetically modified organisms.
Like that movie X-Men Apocalypse, man. When Apocalypse says we shall destroy this world and build from its ashes a better one. You know? This is Jeremiah 46:27. And it says, but fear not, thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be at rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid.
Come on, man, and that's what we're doing. That we're the Lord's servants. He's going to save us out of this captivity like he did. These brothers will tell you, how many times have the Israelites been in captivity? For a long, long, long time. Under every single nation on this planet. The Chinese, the Arabs, the Russians, the Caucasians, all of them. Every single nation, the type of person on this planet has had the Lord's children in slavery. And the Lord saved us out of each one of those slaveries each and every single time. But what would happen is we'd go and we'd sacrifice a goat, or we do this or we do that to try and find redemption with the Lord. And the Lord wasn't doing that because we would be slick and try and use us as a covering for our sins. So now we're in this big captivity right now in America, the final captivity, the situation in the whole world we're in right now, where the Lord is going to come save us again. But this time he's going to destroy and kill everybody that had us in captivity. The same way they did to who the world calls Jesus Christ. Because he's going to come back in the spirit as well, in the flesh.
This is Jeremiah 2:14. And it says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
That's all we are, man, in America. It's slaves. That's all we'll ever be. I mean, you might have a good car or a good job, but at the end of the day, you're not going to pass any money on to your children, man.
And he's saying it in the pretense of almost as if, you know, is this all that we are, Lord?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Asking, is this all that we are? Because this is all that Israel knows is captivity, man.
This is Isaiah 42:22. And it says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. They are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey and none delivereth. For a spoil and none saith restore.
And that's talking about Jake being in prison, man. That's another thing in America where pretty much like 80% of our people are in prison. Being blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are all prison or are messed up on drugs.
And once you get into the system, man, you generally do become a repeat offender, man. Because you can't do a whole lot of things. You lose your job. Niggas won't hire you. Yeah, you wind up.
You don't have shit to your name.
Yeah.
Your baby mama done cheated on you. Had a baby with somebody else.
Most of your family don't want you around. You don't got a place to stay.
Yeah.
So what do, man? You do more crime.
You hustle, man. Or you grind, or you do whatever
get out and get some.
You do what you know.
Right.
They put these shitty schools in your neighborhood, so you had ain't shit teachers teaching you to do nothing but do crime.
Reagan fucking basically mouth-fed your parents crack.
Right. That's why this generation, I saw a meme the other day on the internet, and it's a side note, but that's why this generation is so fucked up. Because our people were serving crack to the fucking kids' moms and parents back in the 80s and 90s and drugs. And now these 2/3 these days, our people are fucking destroyed, man.
The same government that our women run to when they have our children, you know, fed our parents, you know, most like the baby boomer parents and their parents crack, man. You know, they fucking used to give them syphilis to test HIVs on them. You know, gave them AIDS. You know? All kinds of shit, that fucked up shit that they did to our communities that have mentally... Hey, man, we deal with PTSD from our ancestors. Passed down through slavery. You have PTSD, that's something that you can pass down to your child, man.
Or shit, man, you can get PTSD from your parents' relationship, man. The way that the world is now.
And that's true. Hey, generation from generation, Israel has dealt with so much shit that we just deal with shit differently than people, man. We just put shit in like a virtual bank in our mind or some shit.
And just damn.
Hold it in, man, and it hurts.
And it does hurt.
And that shit is passed down generation to generation. We deal with shit that maybe, you know, our ancestors that may have gotten off of slave ship was dealing with today. Because it's somewhere in our memory bank, man, locked away. Alright? Fueling our fucking hate for this world, man. You know, we have fucking vivid visions of the end times and of things that have happened or already happened, or of the past or of the future. Hey, man, the Lord is dealing with brothers, man. Real shit, man. Hey, this shit is coming to an end. Okay? But continuing on, this is 23. This says...
Hold on.